let's talk about something you've probably seen 1,000 times. The humble cooking gas cylinder. I mean, it's almost part of the furniture, right? For decades now, since the mid-20th century, this simple metal can has become this enduring symbol of modern life in millions of Indian homes.
But here's the thing, it's so much more than just a container for fuel. You know, it really represents a leap forward. It's a promise of better health, of a way up the economic ladder, an aspiration for a brighter future. All of that is packed into that one iconic red cylinder.
But what if I told you that promise? It's actually way more fragile than it looks. What if the long journey that cylinder takes to even get to a kitchen is tangled up in some serious global risks? Risks that could, just turn off that flame in an instant.
All right, so to really get this, let's start at the end of the line. Let's start where the cylinder actually ends up, inside the home. Because in there, it's not just an appliance. Nope. It's a really powerful cultural symbol.
And this really shows you what I mean. It's a huge contrast, right? On one side, you've got the LPG cylinder. In movies, in daily life, it just screams progress, modernity, well-being. But on the other side, the traditional wood-burning chulha. And that often represents the exact opposite, hardship, poverty. And let's not forget the really serious health risks of all that indoor pollution. The difference between these two, it's a clear signal of where a family stands.
So, okay, how does this symbol in the kitchen, suddenly become a massive tool of national policy? Well, it's because the government saw that promise and decided, hey, let's make this a national mission.
And in 2016, that mission got a name, the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, or PMUI for short. This was a really big deal, a landmark scheme designed to get clean cooking fuel, these very cylinders, into the homes of millions of poor and rural families. And crucially, it had a special focus on empowering women.
And the goals here were crystal clear. Number one, improve health. You gotta cut down on that deadly smoke from indoor stoves. 2, reduce the absolute drudgery, mostly for women, of having to collect firewood for hours every single day. And that, of course, empowers women by giving them their time back. And finally, it's about dignity, the dignity that comes with having a modern energy source in your home.
All right, hang on, because this is where things get really interesting. This is the moment where the story of a simple kitchen appliance blows up into a story of high-stakes geopolitics. We're zooming way out now, from a village in India all the way to the global stage.
Just look at this number, 90%. That is a huge figure, and it points to a massive, massive vulnerability.
Why is it so huge? Because that's the amount of India's LPG imports, 90%, that has to squeeze through one single, incredibly narrow, and often very tense waterway, the Strait of Hormuz. Think about that. The entire country's clean cooking mission is basically sailing right through that one choke point.
And this just perfectly captures the problem, doesn't it? Any conflict in West Asia, say involving Iran or Israel, could shut down that flow. And just like that, a geopolitical mess thousands of miles away directly threatens a welfare program that's meant to help the absolute poorest people in India.
And look, the impact of a shortage like that wouldn't just be felt in people's homes. The entire service economy would be at risk. You're talking about restaurants and hotels having to cut back their hours. Small street food vendors, they could really struggle to stay open. The ripple effects would just spread right across the economy.
Okay, so let's zoom back into India for a minute. Because even when the global supply is fine, that flame of progress, well, it doesn't burn equally for everyone. Access to clean fuel is still deeply divided along some very old societal fault lines.
I mean, this chart just lays it out so clearly. You can see this major gap in who's actually using LPG. There's a big difference between upper caste households and marginalized scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households. That promise of modernity, it just hasn't reached everyone in the same way.
And the reasons why, well, they're complicated. For the poorest families, the biggest hurdle is just being able to afford the refills, even when there's a subsidy. For SC/ST communities, it's often about where they live, in marginalized areas far away from any decent distribution networks.
So who pays the price when clean fuel is out of reach? Who bears that burden? Overwhelmingly, it's women and girls. Because of traditional gender roles, they're the ones stuck spending hours collecting firewood, and they're the ones breathing in all that harmful smoke while they cook.
But on the flip side, this is exactly why getting this right is so incredibly important. It's transformative. When women do get reliable access to LPG, the benefits are just immense. Their health gets better, they save massive amounts of time and labor, and that opens up doors to earning money and having more control over their own lives. It's a game changer.
Okay, so let's try to bring all of these different threads together, right? The journey of this one single gas cylinder has taken us from a kitchen to national policy to global flashpoints, and then all the way back to some of the deepest social challenges inside India.
When you get right down to it, the LPG cylinder is so much more than a household utility. It's a symbol of public health. It's a symbol of gender justice, of social mobility, and the dream of national development. But, and this is the big but, as we've seen, it's also a powerful symbol of major geopolitical risk.
So India is really at a crossroads here, facing all these huge challenges. The way forward isn't simple. It's going to involve a mix of different strategies. Things like diversifying energy sources, looking at biogas and electric cooking. It means making the PMUI scheme stronger so refills are actually affordable for people. It means closing those infrastructure gaps and, of course, building up strategic reserves to protect against those global shocks.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question. How do you actually secure the health, the dignity, and the future of a family in a small village when the very flame in their kitchen is connected by this invisible thread to a volatile global flashpoint thousands and thousands of miles away?